Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Perhaps not enjoying a lot of summer sun as we would have hoped to have been. We may have had our summer already, but that you have been enjoying getting to meet family and friends in the limited way that we can at the moment. I'm sure that's a relief for you to be able to do that. Now, I wanted to give a wee update on just where we are as a congregation and for the church, and particularly with the announcement this last week from the Scottish Government of a movement to phase three. And you may have seen that within that, it's brought forward the option for churches to reopen for public worship. And that may give folks the sense that the church will just be reopening in a week's time, but that isn't the case at the moment. So I just wanted to fill you in on what we're doing at Ferryhill and why we're doing that, and let you know kind of what will be happening over the weeks to come. There is actually some further guidance that's going to be coming out from the Church of Scotland next week. They're just waiting for some clarification on the numbers, the total number of people that are allowed inside a church building for a public gathering like worship. But that should be clarified soon, and that information will come out. Now, for our own plans, and it's worth pointing out here that there is no pressure from the Church of Scotland as a whole on either presbyteries or congregations on what we do. It is up to individual congregations to decide what is best for them, knowing our own situations. And of course, for us and for other congregations, we're trying to take into account one another, that we're not putting each other into harm's way at all. Now, what our plans are going to be for the next couple of months, throughout July, we're going to continue with the online worship that is being provided from Ferryhill. And then for the first 3 weeks in August, I'm going to be taking some time off. And so we'll be sharing the link to the online worship that is organized by South Holborn Church. And indeed, over the next 3 weeks, David, the minister at South Holborn, is on holiday. So folks from South Holborn will be joining us for our online worship. So we're kind of doing it turnabout. So that will take us through towards the end of August, and then we'll have a better idea of how things are developing. As I say, our primary concern is to ensure everyone's safety. So when we do return to worship in the church building, if we do so in the late summer or autumn, it is not going to be like church as we know it. There will be strict procedures in place. There will be a limit on the number of folks that can attend. Face coverings will be a necessity, and normal parts of collective worship, such as singing, will not be possible. Also, the advice being given is that, for instance, all the doors should remain open to allow air and ventilation, good ventilation within the inside space. So as we head into the autumn, that could get very cold indeed within the church. We need to be wrapping up warm. Also, we're aware that folks with underlying health conditions, those who may be over 70, are being advised that they should not congregate indoors with others in a public space like inside the church. And that actually impacts me too, which leaves me in something of a quandary over what we should be doing. So at the moment, we will, come the middle of August, review where we are, what the current legislation is, what the advice is, and then the Kirk session will make a determination on what we'll do for the next month or two. We'll have to do some work on risk assessments. that has to be passed on to presbytery before we can reopen the building for any kind of public use. So it is, as I say, it's a decision that individual congregations need to make. There's no pressure on us to reopen. We need to do what we think is right for us as a congregation and for our community. But it is a changing situation all of the time, so we are keeping it under review. And whenever any information comes out, that is being passed to all the elders in the Kirk session so that we're aware of what is happening. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. We're in a sort of holding pattern. We're aware that if we move to meeting back in the church for some kind of public worship, it actually wouldn't be worship as we kind of know it, or what we're able to provide through the online services. So I'm certainly, as a kind of worship leader, left in a bit of a quandary over what is the best thing to do, because of course it would be lovely to be able to get together with people, but it wouldn't be getting together in the same way that we normally do it. There wouldn't be any tea and coffee or social kind of gathering time as we normally have on a Sunday. So it's kind of trying to keep that balance available at the moment, the balance right at the moment. That's where we are. I hope that helps to flesh things out a little for you, so that when you're hearing the news and the stories that churches are able to open, being able to open doesn't necessarily mean that it is the right thing to do at the moment. And that's kind of where we are now. We are still trying to do as much as we can online, and my heartfelt appeal to all of you to keep in touch with one another is just the same as it has always been. It's very important that we do that, and I know lots of folks have been doing that, keeping in touch, sometimes meeting up in the park, could go for a kind of distance walk around the park, or whatever it is that you're able to do to keep in touch. That is wonderful. I'm just going to end this with a reflective prayer, which is a reflective prayer actually written for this Sunday coming, for the 12th of July, but I'm not going to use it in the service this week, so you get a sneak preview here. It's a prayer that's actually inspired by the Dayenu, a Jewish Thanksgiving prayer that is used at Passover. Let us pray. One garden would have been fine, Lord, with 2 people in it, some vegetables, fruit and flowers, and a small assortment of domestic animals, but no, you told them to go forth and multiply, and they did. One world would have been ample, Lord, filled with animals, fish, insects, and birds, people of every tongue and hue. But no, our tiny planet is one of countless millions, stretching out to infinity and beyond. One nation would have been plenty to care for, and many have imagined they were the one. But not enough for you, Lord. You love the world and every person in it, those who believe and those who don't, those who are kind and those who are cruel. You love them all equally. It would have been enough, Lord, to tell us how much you love us. You could have inspired a psalmist or 2 to praise your love in song, but no, you came and lived a life of love, and for love's sake you died. It would have been enough, Lord, to set a good example, to show us how to live more gently on the earth. But no, you sent your Spirit to change us from the inside out. Would it be enough, Lord, if we were to meet one day in 7 just for an hour or so, to read your word and sing your praise. And if anyone wanted to join us, they would be more than welcome. No, Lord, thought not. Help us to be extravagant in our living and generous in our loving. Amen. I'll see you all soon, hopefully, but safely. Bye now.